Good morning and welcome back to Afronomics, your favorite channel. The Southern African Development Community, SADAC, faced significant criticism for its handling of the Zimbabwean elections, with many accusing the organization of failing the Zimbabwean people. This article delves into the delays in reaching a verdict, the controversies surrounding SADC's decisions, and the impact on the Zimbabwean people. Zimbabwe's political landscape has been tumultuous for decades, marked by the long-standing rule of Robert Mugabe and the rise of Emmerson Mnangagwa, popularly known as ED. Key events such as the 2008 power-sharing agreement between Mugabe and the opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai, brokered by SADC, highlight the region's ongoing political instability. Election-related conflicts have been a recurring issue, with violence and allegation of electoral fraud marring the 2008, 2018, and 2023 elections. SADC's mandate includes promoting democratic governance and overseeing elections in member states. The organization established the SADC Electoral Observer Mission to monitor elections and ensure they meet regional and international standards. However, SADC has been criticized for its delayed responses to Zimbabwe's disputed elections, particularly in 2018 and 2023. These delays have undermined the credibility of the electoral process and frustrated the Zimbabwean people, with SADC taking weeks or even months to issue statements or reports on the elections. Why is that so? In 2018 elections, they were marred by allegations of rigging and voter suppression. SADC's Electoral Observer Mission, led by Angolan Foreign Minister Manuel Augusto, faced criticism for being too lenient and failing to address key issues. The mission's findings were seen as inadequate in addressing the concerns raised by opposition parties and civil society organizations. In 2023, the election saw SADC's observer mission, led by Zambia's Vice President Dr. Nevas Mumba, issuing a scathing preliminary statement, noting that the polls fell short of minimum standards. Specific issues included irregularities in the delimitation of constituencies, delays in releasing the voters' roll, and restrictions on freedom of assembly and expression. These findings highlighted significant flaws in the electoral process and raised questions about SADC's effectiveness in ensuring free and fair elections. Let's look at how this has affected the Zimbabwean people. The prolonged political instability in Zimbabwe has had severe economic repercussions. Hyperinflation has eroded the value of the Zimbabwean dollar, leading to skyrocketing prices for basic goods and services. Many Zimbabweans struggle to afford necessities such as food, healthcare, and education. The unemployment rate remains alarmingly high, with many young people unable to find stable jobs. This economic uncertainty has forced many Zimbabweans to seek opportunities abroad, leading to a significant brain drain and loss of skilled labor. The disputed elections and political turmoil have been validated by SADC as free and fair have strained the social fabric of Zimbabwean communities. Families and communities are often divided along political lines, leading to tensions and conflicts. The spread of disinformation and propaganda during election periods exacerbates these divisions, creating an environment of mistrust and suspicion. Social cohesion is further undermined by the government's heavy-handed response to dissent, including crackdowns on protests and restrictions on freedom of expression. The disputed elections and political turmoil that have been validated by SADC as free and fair have been marred by documented numerous violations during the and after the elections. 6 people were shot dead in Harare in 2018 just for protesting. Arbitrary arrests, intimidation, and violence against opposition supporters and activists is the norm of the day. The Zimbabwean Human Rights Commission has reported cases of police brutality and the use of excessive force to disperse peaceful demonstrations. Such actions have instilled fear among the populace, discouraging political participation and stifling democratic expression. But what is SADC saying about all this? Sometimes being quiet is also an answer. The constant state of political and economic uncertainty has taken a toll on the mental health of many Zimbabweans. Anxiety, depression, and stress are common as people grapple with the daily challenges of survival in a volatile environment. The lack of reliable mental health services exacerbates these issues, leaving many without the support they need to cope with their circumstances. Women and other vulnerable groups, such as people with disabilities, have been disproportionately affected by the political and economic instability. Women often bear the brunt of economic hardships as they are typically responsible for managing household finances and caring for children. The political violence and intimidation also pose significant risks to the safety and well-being of children. Efforts to promote gender equality and protect the rights of vulnerable groups have been hampered by the ongoing crisis. The repeated delays and perceived leniency of SADC in addressing electoral disputes have eroded the public trust in regional and national institutions. Many Zimbabweans feel that their voices are not being heard and the electoral process is rigged in favor of the ruling party. This disillusionment with the democratic process has led to voter apathy and a sense of hopelessness about the future. The impact of the disputed elections on the Zimbabwean people is profound and multifaceted. Economic hardships, social divisions, human rights violations, and psychological stress are just some of the challenges they face. Addressing these issues requires a concerted effort from both national and regional actors to restore trust, promote stability, and ensure that the voices of all Zimbabweans are heard and respected. In response to the criticisms, SADC officials, including the former SADC chairperson and president of Malawi, Lazarus Chakwera, and SADC executive secretary, Elias Magosi, issued statements addressing the concerns and outlining plans to improve the electoral process in the future. Recommendations for SADC include increasing the independence and capacity of the Electoral Observer Mission, improving the timeliness and transparency of their reports, and engaging more actively with civil society and opposition parties. SADC's handling of the Zimbabwean elections has been fraught with delays and controversial decisions, leading to widespread criticism and accusations of failing the Zimbabwean people. Some have even suggested that senior SADC officials have been given a handout, a bribe. The organization's delayed verdicts and perceived leniency have undermined the credibility of the electoral process and contributed to ongoing political instability. Many Zimbabweans see SADC as a compromised organization that favors those in power and have no interest in acting in a fair manner. Goodbye for now.